Week 1. Bills at Jets. Monday Night Football. It's about damn time, Matt. How you feeling about Week 1?
Yeah, what a great way to open up the season, right? The against the opponent that you're likely chasing for the division, in the Buffalo Bills, who have owned the AFC East for the last few years, and the Jets beat them at home last year, lost to them on the road, but it was two very good games, and I would expect the same thing again this year. I think it's two teams who are pretty evenly matched. It's going to be there's two really good quarterbacks, but two really good defenses also. So I'm really curious to see which one comes to play. Like, is it the offenses that show out, or is it that defense on both sides that comes out and is really dominant in week one here? But I can't wait. It's been something we've been talking about. It feels like for years at this point. Like I feel like we've known they were playing Buffalo and opening up the season at Buffalo for forever, and I cannot wait for this thing to get underway.
Green Bean, how you feeling about Week 1?
I tell you, well, Matt said a lot, right? Like, so which that I agree with, but I have to say, there's two things that I really want to see. Now, anything that leads to us winning, I'm totally fine with, right? But there's two things that I'm really hoping to see. One is I want to see the Jets absolutely brutalize their defensive line, brutalize the Bills' offensive line. The Mitch Morses, the Dawkins of the world, all those guys. I want to see us, like, as the game progresses, just slowly but surely dominate, wear them down to a pulp. Where in the fourth quarter, they know they're huffing, they're puffing, they're on their heels, they can't stop us, and we're just bringing in fresh dudes. Here comes Al Woods and Michael Clemens, all pissed off, all fresh from the sideline. Like, I want to see that sort of thing. I want to see us dominate their offensive line, subsequently taking away their running game and making Josh Allen make stupid mistakes like he likes to do when he's under pressure. And then offensively, again, whatever has to happen, I'm totally fine with, Gibson winning the game. It doesn't matter to me. But what I really want to see, I want to see the Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson connection start early and become lethal right before our eyes, starting against the Buffalo Bills. That's what I want to see. Now, I'd like to see the running game and Brees and Cook. I'm really curious how they're going to utilize those two guys. Is it just going to be a steady rotation? Are we going to see lean more one way or the other? I'm very curious and interested in that. But again, I want this season offensively to be the season of Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson, out front of everything else, and I want it to start in a big way week 1.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to expect. I think the spread was 2.5 points in favor of the Bills, so I'm going to hammer the Jets all damn day. You're telling me the Jets beat the Bills last year without Brees, without AVT, without Corey Davis, with Zach Wilson throwing 150 yards? Yeah, I think we can win with all those guys back, minus Corey Davis, and Aaron Rodgers at the helm. So I think that's going to be absolutely huge. As far as the over under, I believe it's set at like 47 or 48 points. It's somewhere hovering right around there. I would take the under. I don't think this is going to be a high flying game. I don't think we're going to see the huge explosive 350 yard game from Aaron Rodgers this game, because Buffalo does have a pretty good secondary. And I know Von Miller's out, so we're going to have a little bit more time. That's going to help our offensive line for sure. I mean, it's going to take a few weeks for our offensive line to gel. So no Von Miller definitely helps the Jets in this particular situation. Now, as far as what I expect to have happen, look, Josh Allen is studly. He's a good quarterback. Best way to stop a good quarterback: 1, put him on his ass. 2, keep him off the field. Run the ball. Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, I want to see that 1-2 punch just run loose. I want 300 yards on the ground. If Aaron Rodgers can have 75 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and we have 350 yards on the ground, I'll take that all damn day. I don't have to utilize the passing game if we can keep Josh Allen off the field and we could just run it down their throat. That's kind of how we beat them last year, too. I mean, you saw James Robinson in his only action of last year was feeding him the rock later in the game and just running clock on it. So I would love to see it. Matt, do you think it's going to be more of a running style game, or you think we're going to see more of the passing side of things?
Yeah, well, I was looking earlier today, the difference between the 2 times the Jets played the Bills, and the game they won, they ran the ball 34 times, and the game they lost, they ran it 22 times. I think they're gonna run it somewhere in the high
Mm.
20s, so I think they will lean on the run game a little bit. I think 30 plus runs is a lot, and that feels a little high. But I do think they're going to want to try to get both Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook, active and going early and often, and Michael Carter too. Can't forget him, mixing him in the bunch there as well. But I don't think Rodgers is throwing the ball more than, I don't know, 32 times in this game. Like, I don't think he's going to go out there and fire it 45 times for like 400 yards.
What do you think, Green Bean? Do you think it's gonna be more of a running game? I know you want to see like that connection with
Yeah.
Rodgers and Wilson early. I think that's something we probably all want to see. So even if it doesn't, necessarily end up in points from those two in
Yeah.
particular.
Right. Yeah, and and it's funny as you were saying that, like I totally agree with that. I wasn't insinuating that I want to see a heavy pass, leaning pass, 50 plus pass, ignoring the run. But I want to see the connection when we pass. I want to see Garrett Wilson utilized early and often. But you know what I think, and well, what I hope. This is what I think the goal is, and I hope that it happens. Okay, is that we are able to get to a point where we're up some, even if it's not that much, but where we are running the ball later in the game, similar to the game that you brought up, Ryan, the first game in Buffalo with James Robinson. I mean, that one fourth quarter drive, we literally pounded it from deep in our own territory all the way down the field. We took care of almost the entire fourth quarter with that drive, and you could see it. The Bills were beaten. They were huffing and puffing, and like if we can get that sort of thing going, and that's where the running game really starts to accrue its numerical stats, I think that would be optimal. But I think they're going to try to establish it early, man. Like you said, keeping them off the field is always key. Time of possession is key, man. And we saw such a porous, attempt at that last year. Our offense was out there 3 plays, and the defense was back on the field. We saw it time and time and time again. So the ability to keep their offense off the field, keep our defense fresh, is going to pay dividends.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know if you caught yourself saying it. The Bills were huffing and puffing. I want to put them in a position where Huff gets to huff and puff all over these offensive tackles late in the game,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
I
Maybe we
wanna
should
see
call
them-
him Bryce Hufflepuff.
Bryce Hufflepuff. I do want to see, dude, late in the game, you're talking about fresh pass rushers against Josh Allen. Dude, those tackles are going to be tired. We're like 6 deep on the edge rush side of things. It's going to be exciting. Matt, you think Huff's going to get after it this time?
Yeah, I do. I mean, he had the huge play in that game the first time. And I do think the Jets are going to be playing with a lead in this game. So that would then mean Buffalo is going to have to try to throw them to get back into it. And I think that's a perfect time for, Bryce Huff and the rest of those guys to scream off the edge and make some noise. I think Huff's a good one to get in and get a sack. And if Will McDonald's getting his action, maybe him too in his first game.